Italy is at war, and the Count of Savoy is planning for his revenge on how to get his rightful ducal title back. Hello everybody, Realm Builder Guy here, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you to everybody that's been watching and commenting and liking the series so far. I am pre-recording a lot of this stuff right now because while you are watching this, I'm actually over in Europe for about a month. And so hopefully I can get enough pre-recorded so you always have some Crusader Kings 3 to watch every week. All right. Well, when last we left our our Count. Of course, he was a Duke no more. And that was a blow, an unexpected blow also for me. And definitely for Konrad, his wife Bertha, and his son Rudolf, the drunk hunchback. Now, no longer being a duke, of course, really hurt the prospects for Rudolf to find a spouse. We're going to work on that, and hopefully we can do that relatively soon. In the meantime, we're just kind of keeping an eye on the situation here, and if there's going to be a change at the head of the throne of Italy. So the simple stone quarries have been constructed in Moutier, and we will now be gaining a modicum, a 0.2 more in tax revenue, but also an increase to our levies and so on. Our piety still is tanking, but you know what? Konrad doesn't care. Konrad just doesn't care. Everything else, 2 family members can still get married. We have low county control in Aosta. So, needless to say, we are going to have to send none other than Adalwin to Aosta to take care of that control and beef that back up. We're not in a position really to do much in terms of claims. We can't go to war here with the Provence at this point because, well, we still have an ongoing truce. And that truce, it's not saying what we have here. We'll have to look at ourselves. I wish they would show it on that one as well. We have a truce for 11 more months. So Gisela has been swayed. Excellent. Does that mean now she has a positive opinion? She does. All right. Other than that, I think we can try to... try to learn a language. So this would attempt to learn the Countess's French language. Whereas our bishop, there's nothing we can do. But you know what? Let's do this. Let's learn a language. 29%. 9 years. And a 29% chance of learning that language. You know what? He doesn't really care that much about the language. Instead, we will take a look at our vassals. Well, the vassals are all good. Everybody kind of likes it. We are still the chancellor at our liege's council, which is, of course, very good. Other than that, our courtiers, we have a guest, Andreas von Lechsmünd. King Louis is being attacked by King Karlman. Ooh, Adelaide has come of age. Sufficient tutelage, even a child that has displayed little natural inclination towards warfare, such as Adelaide, can truly understand it. Fantastic. So we now have 2 of age. Let's see. Other than that, courtiers, our half-sister-in-law, Robert. Let's see if we can... No, we can't do anything. He's probably too far away. So instead, we're going to go to our wife again. And let's see if we can befriend her, seduce her, and romance her. 65% chance of romancing. What about seduction? 60. And befriending, that should be the easiest. 65%. You know what? We're going to romance our wife. Because why not? Why not begin with romance? The time has come to let my feelings towards Countess Bertha be known. I want her to remember this day for the rest of her life. Sing a love ballad. Write a love poem. Impress her by winning a sparring match. Go with my gut in the moment. Write her a love poem. The candle is burning low when I finally finish my poem. Before I send it, I give it one last read. Your striking beauty is what gives meaning to my life. I wish only to smooch you, that I may know the depths of your love. You should do everything I want all the time. The waiting is unbearable. The thought of rejection makes me sick to my stomach. When her reply arrives, I tear the seal with shaking hands. While I cannot encourage you, Count Konrad, I'm most grateful for your kind words. Yours faithfully, Bertha. Bertha won't resist my charms for long. In the meantime, it looks like the East Franconian claim on the Kingdom of Italy is upon us. Defenders, Italy with 5,500. The attackers, East Francia, 4,100. Whilst also dealing with that internal revolution or revolt. Louis the Younger is in not a great position right now. Two strong wars that they're dealing with. But I believe right now the best bet for the Welfs of Savoy is to just stay out of all of this. You can see the war target here. The war score is in favor of the Kingdom of Italy, which I did expect. Now it really will see what Kalman does. If you want to know more about the Karlings, I do have a Karling guide here on the channel, which I do recommend you go check out. If you are interested at all in history and kind of the stories behind the characters you find in Crusader Kings 3, I have a whole series of these with many more planned in the future. So what are we going to do now? Well, we can kind of look and see if we can destabilize the Kingdom of Italy further. Is there anything we can do here? Can we murder him? That's not a good idea. Can we learn a language? 54% chance if we learn it from the king. Interesting. Romance, a rare flower. As my songbird and I walk through the Moutier Gardens in June, I gesture at the greenery around us. For all their beauty, there isn't a single flower which rivals your own, my lady. There is one, she says with a mischievous smile. A rare orchid from Augus-Île. Great, thanks. Which is nearly impossible to cultivate. The monastery ruin in Aosta is the only place where it thrives in these regions. Surely I can find a merchant willing to sell me one for 15 gold, and I get her a special gift. I will brave the ruins myself. Perhaps I will get to see it one day. Surely, I mean, she will get a special gift. Without a doubt. All right, we've got a lot of people that can get married here, but just probably not going to find any suitable people to get married to. Let's take a look and see if we can murder this guy. 7%, so that's not going to happen. What about his heir? 7%. So yeah, that's not really something to do. The Bossonids instead. 95% chance of murdering Count Archambault. There's a 95% you are not exposed. It'll take 8 years. Miguel is the heir apparent. Now that would just be a matter of destabilizing some neighbors. Right now, we are not in line to inherit anything at all. The Duchy of Savoy, we cannot create at this point. Why? Because we do not have sufficient funds to do so. So we're just in this very frustrating holding pattern at this point. So we'll get a new diplomacy perk here, Friendly Counsel. Each of your friend relations give you 2 random skill points. Great. Okay. So it's kind of a matter of monitoring what's going to happen here in Italy, how that shapes up. If for some reason we are able to become an independent nation, well, then we can keep an eye on Lotharingia, of course, because that's where the bulk of everything we want is. By God, Countess Bertha is an insufferable doxy. Have you seen how she yawns? Ridiculous. My knight, Lucetto, throws his head back with a wicked laugh. Bertha is still conversing with her friends, but I can tell she heard him. I hate to see her hurt. Vile lies. Draw your sword, churl. 61%. So, loses. Lucetto would lose. We get 61% chance that we gain 150 prestige. The scheme gains active heroism, so it gets bumped up. 38% chance we're wounded. Lies. Draw your sword. A lady's honor. Lucetto draws his sword with a cocky grin. Oh, how I will enjoy wiping that arrogant look off his face. When I am done with him, Lucetto's humiliation is absolute. Bruised and blushing, he croaks at an apology and limps away to lick his wounds. Countess Bertha, on the other hand, is glowing like the sun. You are a true hero, Count Konrad. You have my eternal gratitude. It was my honor, Lady Bertha. You gain 150 prestige, an act of heroism, so scheme success chance goes up by 10%. That is right. Glory is known far and wide. That's fantastic. We are now distinguished in our level of fame. We have too few knights, but we also don't have the money to hire them. So there's not a ton we can do there. Let's take a look here if we, in the meantime, have any better candidates for any of these positions. So we can make Rudolf, Adelaide, our daughter, she's poor, Gisela as the court tutor. Not really interested in that. A seneschal. Adelaide, our daughter, would make a very good seneschal. So we will make her a seneschal. So we will appoint her to that. We get an opinion bonus +5 and control growth of +0.4 per month. Other than that, we can look at bodyguards. Nobody. Personal champion. Adalwin would kind of fall in that category. Prestige, you get a little bit of a prestige bump, and dread decay gets reduced. And he can take duels in our place. But I don't really need that at this point. So I think we've got, excuse me, all of the possible positions really would want at this time. And other than that, I'm going to take a look and see if we can find some marriage alliances or marriages that would benefit my family and my children. So we have found someone. Now, it hurts a little bit, Rudolf's prestige. He'll take a 100 prestige hit. But since we're not able to find anybody with a good alliance, and he does have a negative inheritable trait, she has a positive one, and we have picked Osterhild von Breisgau of the Breisgau family. She is Catholic and Swabian, so it's pretty close. She is pretty, which helps fertility. She is a conscientious scribe. She is diligent, gregarious, and lustful, so that helps with a lot of gaining children. Now, she is older. She is 28, but I think we should be okay. She lives in Eschenlohe. She has an 18 in diplomacy, a 13 in stewardship, and a 14 in learning. This isn't one that helps our alliances, but it is sure, or it gives a higher chance of producing an heir for our son Rudolf. And honestly, that trumps needing an alliance at this point. So we will send that proposal. Now we will take a look at both Adelaide and Judith and see if there, on the other hand, we can find a suitable marriage alliance or claims that would really help. Now we could marry off our daughter Adelaide to Count Eudes of Anjou. So the County of Anjou, and he has a lot of claims. Also, we could marry her off to our brother, which obviously not going to do that. Instead, let's see if there's anything matrilineal to look at. Well, here we do have all those claims in Brittany that she could get, or all those claims in Spain. Other than that, there's not a ton of interesting prospects for her to pick from, if I'm perfectly honest. So we're going to wait with Adelaide for right now. But now we're going to look at Judith. And Judith, if there's an alliance that's worth it, we can marry her off to the county of Aargau, which could be beneficial right next door. She is 27, the Count Berthold of Aargau. Could it be matrilineal? By chance? No, not even a little bit. Could marry to our son, but that's no. So this, I think, would be beneficial. Gets us another small county ally, which could help with some of our expansion wars. So we will send that proposal out as well. Because again, we are going to move against the Provence, and that is very, very important. So there's our alliance. Counselor has left the court. It's okay because I think we can find a better spy master. And not Lucetto. I thought we could find a better spy master, but it's not looking like it. Our Chancellor, Harold, could be that. And here, our Steward could be better at that. Rudolf could be better at that. Or he could be about as competent. So we're not going to make Lucetto it. Definitely not our Marshal. Actually, you know what? We are going to reassign Adalwin to that. And then our Marshal, we are going to assign Rudolf, our son, to be the Marshal. Perfect. I think that worked out nicely. So we upgraded in both those positions and gained another small ally, account level ally, but that can help in possibly some of these wars here in northern Italy or against the Provence. So Duke Lambert has created an independence faction against King Louis. So that's all possible. And we can also look at the possibility of independence from Italy. So in thinking about it, I think right now, Konrad and Savoy are not going to join an independence faction or create an own independence faction. We can do that, of course. But I kind of want to see how these wars pan out. Now, the Friulian War is going to go down. That's not going to work. But the East Franconian invasion of Italy, that's the interesting thing, the interesting one to keep an eye on. Lady Beata, let me prove my devotion to you in any way you deem fit. Beata ponders the request for a while before her face lights up. I've been plagued by nightmares lately. If you are truly devoted to me, you will stand guard outside my chambers and make sure no evil reaches me. You will sleep undisturbed. She's well rested for 5 years. She gains 20 opinion. Leave me undisturbed all night and I will stand guard. Yes. Countess Beata is well rested for 5 years and gains 20 opinion. Fantastic. Yeah, there's that uprising. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. It's not looking good for Count Adelhard's claim on the Kingdom of Italy and the Friulians. Not good at all. But at the same time, the East Franconian claim, that war is going in favor of Karlman of East Francia. Rudolf finished the increased county control task in Aosta. So we will go to him now, and we will train commanders or organize the army. I think we're going to go with, we'll train commanders again. We'll just focus on that for right now. Now, one negative thing that has happened, of course, by being reduced from a duke to a count, we can only have 2 men-at-arms regiments. So we will keep our light footmen and we will keep our pikemen, but we cannot create another one. We have the money to bring in onagers and work on our siege equipment, which is very, very, very important, but we just don't have the cash. Now, we could increase these units. We can increase this. This will cost us 74. And we'll bump up the maintenance by 0.35. If we increase these, it's a mild cost, but definitely worth the growth there. Intruder. Every time I close my eyes, I see Countess Berta's face. Sleep will not come. I cannot wait another moment. Cloaked in shadows, I make my way to the garden outside her living quarters. The sight of Berta's chamber window makes my heart stutter. So close, and yet so far. But wait, who is that climbing up the tower? The shady figure stops by Berta's window and unlatches the shutters. My Rose is in danger. I must save her. Go ahead with my attempt to romance Countess Berta. Social manipulation. The first time it happened, I barely even gave it a moment's thought, but my Chancellor Mayor Harold has grown bolder. His challenges no longer pass unnoticed at the council table. He is testing my limits. The others are sure to follow, unless I give him a taste of his own medicine. So I will ignore him and steal his ideas? No. He shall have tasks which are impossible to complete. So that is one possibility. All problems will be blamed on him. You manipulate Mayor Harold, you gain a weak hook, gains 20 opinion. Or he is not fooled, or he outwits me. How dare you challenge your count? You gain 19 stress because you are shy, you gain 11 dread, and he loses 5 opinion. It will happen we gain 50 diplomacy less. Okay, we're going to do that. All problems will be blamed on him. The intruder. The sounds from the struggle above is the greatest motivator I have ever known. Without care for life or limb, I hoist myself through Countess Berta's window. I feel as if I have plunged into a frozen lake. Berta is on the floor, the intruder pushing her down, a gleaming blade between them. With a roar, I grab the villain by the collar and throw him into the wall. The rest is a blur. When the danger is over, I turn toward her. Berta, are you all right? I ask cautiously. As if my words were a spell, she finally unfreezes and throws herself into my arms. Thank God you are here, Konrad. I will never let you get into harm's way again. Countess Berta becomes the soulmate. You lay with Countess Berta. She gains 10 opinion and ends the romance and gain 150 prestige. So fantastic. It worked. She could never resist our charms. So the manipulation hook on Mayor Harold. The issue Mayor Harold brought up used to make me look bad, but now the tables have turned. Every time he has raised a subject of concern, I've skillfully shifted the blame back to him, or made him seem petty for even bringing it up. Now he remains quiet, eyes cast low. He will think twice before challenging me again. We gain a weak hook, manipulation on Mayor Harold, and he gains 20 opinion. That's right. Konrad, who was a deft political figure at this time, has now proven so in the game. Fate of the Visigoths. When the Visigoths first migrated into the Iberian Peninsula, they were foreigners in a new and strange land. This changed over many generations as land shaped them as much as they shaped the land itself. Over time, the various communities of Visigoths grew distinct and separate from one another. Despite their shared heritage, these new communities, Castilian, Catalan, and Andalusian, no longer recognize each other as kin. Only time will tell how this impacts the region. So keeping an eye on this, the Friulian War here is still dragging on, and in the meantime, the East Franconians continue to make gains. You can see their armies here and in Spoleto. Right now, they're leaving our lands alone, and that's very, very important. Also, can't forget, Italy did expand its lands a little bit in the south, driving the Saracens, so to speak, out of the Italian boot. Byzantines are still there and very strong. But it's an interesting situation for us to keep an eye on. I'd like to be a greater player in this, but, you know, Konrad doesn't think that pushing any of this is worth his time. So, the truce has now expired with the Provence. So, we can once again try our best in fabricating a claim and moving south against Forcalquier and the Provence yet again. Your liege won their war with Duke Unruch, so the Friulian War is over. But this will be the interesting one. Right now, it's minus 65% war score. So that means Kalman of East Franconia is powerful. The beguiling boar, Herold, makes my blood boil. How could God see fit to curse the earth with Herold's brash heartlessness? No, it is obvious. He is Satan's kin. He is worse than both putrid boil and ravenous locust. I cannot stand the mere thought of breathing the same cold-hearted air as him. I must do something. I must act. My sanity depends on it. I will not rest until Herold is dead and buried. Driven by vengeance. Well, we are vengeful, so yeah, that's definitely going to happen. All right, Sound Foundations. Each living child gives you 1 random skill point. Perfect. So we're almost done with the Patriarch, or with the family hierarchy tree, and then we'll look at Diplomat and Auguste and decide which direction to go next in the evolution of Konrad of Savoy of House Welf. So the big question in this war between the Karlings of East Francia and his cousin down in Italy is, of course, who would we rather have as our liege lord? I mean, a unification of all the Carolingian lands helps us because then we can work on expanding our territory in internal wars, basically vassal wars, in this region of Lotharingia without, running the risk of needing to declare war on their liege, which is right now a kingdom, and there's just absolutely no chance there. Whereas the Provence right now, let's see, they have 603. Well, we would have the power to do so, but right now we're just waiting on this Casus Belli to come through, which is still going to take a while. Once that's there, we'll try that war yet again to expand in this region. I mean, if we can gain the Provence bit by bit by bit, that will already make a huge difference. But as things stand right now, we have no other wars, not a ton of actions we can do, even though we can focus on trying to overthrow Italy further. And, I mean, we could try to murder him at 61% chance. That is a scheme I'm not a big fan of right now. I think going after him could have been better, but again, there, 14% chance. It's not really overly strong. Oh, there was a change here. There was a massive change. Lotharingia now. It is all Lotharingia. Why? So we've got being raided. Okay. Oh, that's the north coast. Why? I would assume... Let's take a look here real quick. Our lord is Louis the Younger. And he now inherited the lands of Lotharingia, which he was supposed to get anyway, but of course, West Francia and East Francia divvied that up. So now, my friends, now the world is completely different. Things have changed dramatically, and we could go to war against the Count of Zundgau, because we have claims here. Besançon, we do not have war claims here. We do not have war claims here, but Zundgau is one we could go after. They are allied with Count Hupold of Lille. But we could expand to Zundgau. Now the question is that within... It is not within Burgundy. Now that's a shame. But the lands just to the north in Bern and Aargau are. So in Bern we have Count Gerold of Bern. He's one we could look at. These are allies, so now being allied with Aargau does help in these wars. We could go after Zundgau, but that's not really the direction I want to go. I want to get, we want this territory here. That is what we're after, but we're first going to go after the Provence. How powerful are these guys? These are not very powerful ones. In Forêt, in Viennois. Besançon is more powerful. This would be a good one to target next after the Provence. So if we can expand in here, we can then expand in Viennois and bit by bit grow our territorial claims. But of course now, this war between Lotharingia and East Francia has taken on completely new facets for us to keep an eye on. Now we can petition our liege. Let's see if there's anything we can do here. Council appointment, grant council seat. Grants you a seat on his council. We can request that, and that's really it. We can petition the liege to give us a council seat. Yes, let's do that. Gain distress. You have overwhelmed by stress, of course, because this isn't really something we want to do. I am escorted to King Louis's throne room, where he beckons for me to approach and address him. I elucidate the abilities, proven and otherwise, that make me a suitable candidate to be the king's chancellor, requesting the position as his advisor. I certainly can't do any worse than Prince Archbishop Philibert of Lorraine. After listening to the speech, he frowns and rebuffs me. I apologize, but for the good of Lotharingia, I must refuse your request. Wait, my lord, hear me out. So, we tried and resumed the court event. That kicked us out. King Louis thinks for a moment, then cries, Robot, I require your counsel on this matter. The nobly born courtier steps forward, eagerly clutching his robe. Yes, a most delicate affair, my lord. Alderic, the king's archbishop, watches quietly from the sidelines. No one could question an argument left unrefuted by him. The king turns back to me, his attention already moving elsewhere. I need to do something. I know just the thing to trip Rodabal up. Or Alderic. Rodabal. Your petition ends. Mental breakdown. Wanton desires. We tried. Unfortunately, it does not seem to have happened. Lately, I feel like I am constantly being distracted by lascivious thoughts and erotic fantasies. With all the hardships of my everyday life, it is all too easy to lose myself in daydreams, forget about reality. I must sequester myself to avoid temptation. So, Countess Judith is no longer your friend. You gain trait reclusive. You lose 33 stress. The old commandments help stay me pure. We spend 250 piety. You lose a level of devotion. You convert to Karaism. Become Jewish. That's interesting, but that wouldn't make sense. I will bite my lip and try to stay focused. No, I'll become reclusive. So Konrad is now reclusive. So unfortunately, that did not work. He was the chancellor before, but now we're his king, who already had stripped him of his duchy title, has moved on to a larger kingdom. That is no longer the case. What is this war now? It is still for the Kingdom of Italy. So we'll see what happens there. And where does that fall? So it would be for this. So we would no longer be within that. So we would still keep the same liege lord. So really, honestly, I just don't care. That is not of Italy is not of concern. This is the region that is of primary concern. And we are not too terribly far away from being able to fabricate the claim on this county and move against the Provence. But we will leave that for next time. We see Aquitaine has grown here. So West Francia is just this little slot here, and then we have the powerful Kingdom of Aquitaine here. Asturias has also expanded. It's 867 craziness here in 880. And with that, I think we'll end today's episode. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed it. And until next time, I am Realm Builder Guy, and I will talk to you soon.